NFL Week 7 of the 2025-2026 season, and the Ravens had finally, painfully, graciously reached their Week 7 bye. A season that had left the entire league stunned. The preseason Super Bowl favorite Ravens sitting at 1-5. A defense shredded by injuries, and Lamar Jackson sidelined the last 2 weeks with an injured hamstring. It was during this bye week, with hope building for Lamar's return and what it could potentially mean for the Ravens, that I began thinking about what everything we'd seen through 6 weeks of the 2025-26 season really meant. And not very far into that analysis, the meaning, that truth, leapt to the forefront. What we observed over those first 6 weeks meant that what we already knew during the previous year's 2025 MVP race between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson was once more being undeniably confirmed. Every single one of those people who said Lamar didn't deserve that MVP, that this Ravens team was so talented that they could remain dominant without him, owes that man an apology. Because now the truth is right in front of everyone. Same weapons, same coaches, same offense, minus Lamar, and it all collapsed. I'm Rob Love. This is One Flock. And the end of that argument against Lamar Jackson's 2025 MVP starts right now.
Let's go Ravens, let's go Ravens, let's go Ravens, let's go Ravens. We are one flock, we are one flock, we are one flock, we are one flock.
The 2025 NFL MVP was announced, and people lost their minds. Some celebrated, others were furious. Did the right player actually win? Or did the voters get it all wrong? We're diving into the stats, the reactions, and the controversy to figure out whether this MVP was legit or a total MVP robbery. Every year, the NFL MVP award recognizes the best player in football. But it's more than a trophy. It's a legacy. It defines careers, rewrites contracts, and carves out Hall of Fame futures. In 2025, 2 names stood above the rest: Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Both had incredible seasons. Both led their teams into the playoffs, and both had a legitimate case for MVP. But when the dust settled, only one man walked away with the trophy. Now the question is, was it the right man? During this bye week, with both teams looking inward, I've had time to reflect. Not just on that MVP race, but on what this season's new revelations have exposed for us. Because what's happened in the immediate aftermath of the 2025 crowning of Josh Allen proves something powerful. Without Lamar Jackson, what was touted by many as the most talented roster in football looks ordinary. 2 games without him, and suddenly they can barely find the end zone. Meanwhile, Josh Allen's Buffalo Bills struggling despite him playing every single snap. The evidence is clear and it is damning. A few of those MVP voters owe Lamar a very vigorous apology. Let's review. Last season, Josh Allen was a beast, no question. He threw for over 3,700 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, his best individual year as a passer. But let's put that in context. Lamar Jackson, including all of the 2025 season and the 3.5 games he played prior to his injury in the 2026 season, still had not thrown as many interceptions as Josh Allen had in the 2025 season alone. Josh Allen's 6 interceptions were 150% higher than Lamar's total in that same year. And because Lamar continued playing elite turnover-free football, Lamar still hadn't thrown the 6 interceptions Allen threw in 2025, even if you add it together, Lamar's 2025 and 2026 stats through his first 4 weeks as the starter. Meanwhile, Allen had already added 2 more interceptions in the early 2026 season, only 6 games in. By the week 7 bye, Josh Allen had accounted for 5 of the Bills' last 6 turnovers. That tells you everything you need to know about the narrative that Lamar wasn't valuable enough. Because when you look at the numbers, it's not even close. Lamar Jackson protects the football better, produces more efficiently, and carries his team in a way that no one else in the league can. In 2025, Lamar wasn't running as much as in his earlier MVP runs, but when he did, it was pure chaos for defenses. He still broke ankles, extended plays, and delivered the 4th highest passing efficiency rating for a season in NFL history. So, if the MVP is about value, leadership, and dominance, then the wrong man took that stage. The truth? Lamar Jackson didn't lose the MVP. It was stolen from him. Lamar Jackson appeared to be the overwhelming favorite to win his 2nd consecutive MVP award after earning the first-team All-Pro honors. But in one of the most baffling twists in recent NFL history, Josh Allen secured his first MVP despite Lamar's dominance. Allen became only the 3rd player in NFL history to win MVP without being named first-team All-Pro quarterback, joining John Elway, who did it in 1987, and Steve McNair, who accomplished the same in 2003. The reason? A split vote. Some voters, as unbelievable as it was, checked Lamar's name for All-Pro honors, yet turned around and picked Allen as MVP. Among them was notably ESPN's Dan Orlovsky, who defended his decision by claiming that Allen was doing more with less. Orlovsky and several others who followed that logic, such as Emmanuel Acho, argued that even though the Bills roster won multiple games, despite Josh Allen playing poorly, and even though James Cook, the Bills' star running back, tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns with 16, Allen's value was supposedly higher because the Ravens' offense was too talented. That logic was absurd then, and it's laughable now. Most of these same voters admitted on record that Lamar Jackson was the best player in football, yet somehow still handed the most valuable player award to someone else. Their argument? That the Ravens could do it without Lamar, while Allen had to carry Buffalo. But now is where we have to fast forward to this season. And that is where this flawed argument totally collapses under the weight of reality. But first, let's hear the argument again before crushing it with the healthy serving of reality.
I voted for Lamar's first team All-Pro.
And you voted for Josh MVP?
Yeah. Okay, so then explain it to me.
Because I
how
think
did
Josh
you
was
differentiate those things?
the value that the player brought to their football team. The Bills were the number 2 seed. Josh had a 40 touchdown, 8 turnover, 14 sack season. The Bills didn't have an elite defense. The Bills had a very good run game, not a great run game. They didn't have elite perimeter players in any regard. The way that Josh played this season and the different style that he played brought tremendous value to their football team. Lamar's season was absolutely sensational. He was probably the best player in football this year, or Jamar Chase, or Saquon Barkley. But value and how much you impact your team, who you do it with, and who you do it against, that's where I thought Josh Allen had the upper hand.
Interesting. We disagree on this side of the table.
Did he say most valuable player for his team? Is this MVP of the league or of the Bills?
Gosh. So, I mean, I think I'm glad that we have Dan here to defend him and the people who did this, but it does feel like you're trying to split the baby. Like, you don't got the heart to say what you actually want to say. I think both of them had MVP caliber seasons, but it feels like you are trying to find some little semantics trapdoors. You can give this to him and that to them because you don't actually want to say what you really want to say.
Which is what?
Lamar Jackson had the best season this year. And maybe you could argue
but that's not the award, Dom.
See, this is the semantics foolishness that we do. This is what you do. You say value. And the cool thing about value, it gives us on these shows a way to argue because you can twist it and turn it any way you want. Normally, MVP means who's the best damn dude in the league.
Yeah.
And to me, obviously, Josh Allen had an MVP caliber season. But the best damn dude in the league this year was the guy who was first team All-Pro.
How did you differentiate those things?
The value that the player brought to their football team. The Bills were the number 2 seed. Josh had a 40 touchdown, 8 turnover, 14 sack season. The Bills didn't have an elite defense. The Bills had a very good run game, not a great run game. They didn't have elite perimeter players in any regard. The way that Josh played this season and the different style that he played brought tremendous value to their football team. Lamar's season was absolutely sensational. He was probably the best player in football this year, or Jamar Chase, or Saquon Barkley. But value and how much you impact your team, who you do it with.
But do the facts even agree with this argument? Despite having Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers last season, every time Lamar Jackson's passer rating dipped below 114, which only happened 5 times in the season, the Ravens lost every single time. In other words, if Lamar Jackson didn't play supremely well, the Ravens didn't win, period. And for those who don't understand, a quarterback rating over 100 is considered to be excellent. 90 to 100 is good, and anything 80 or below is considered a poor outing by the quarterback. Keep in mind, Lamar Jackson had several games where he played excellent, over 100, and the Ravens still lost. Where he played good, 90 to 100, and the Ravens lost. The only time the Ravens won was when Lamar Jackson played supremely well, 114 or above. Meanwhile, the fact that Josh Allen could play poorly and the Bills still win is the first major telltale sign of the nonsense behind the claim that Lamar's value was somehow lessened because his team was too talented. Any passer rating beneath 80 is poor, remember? Well, Josh Allen had 2 games, notably on November 10th, when he had a 60.2, 20 points below the poor threshold. And the Buffalo Bills still throttled the Indianapolis Colts, blowing them out by double digits, carrying Josh Allen and his poor performance to a victory. A month later, in December, once more against the Patriots, Josh Allen put up a horrendous 67.3 quarterback rating. Remember, 80 is considered poor. 67.3, and still the Buffalo Bills carried Josh Allen in this putrid performance to a victory. The lie is right there. The Ravens never win unless Lamar Jackson plays at a supremely well level. The Buffalo Bills win even when Josh Allen plays at a putrid level, well below poor. But what did they say? They said Baltimore didn't need Lamar to be great for the Ravens to succeed. That was a bold-faced lie. A closer look at how these two offenses had remained virtually unchanged heading into the 2026 season, except that Baltimore may have even upgraded with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, exposes the undeniable fallacy that every single voter who gave Lamar's MVP away helped to spread. Because while Josh Allen entered this season behind one of the NFL's top 3 offensive lines, Lamar Jackson was running for his life behind abysmal O-line play. Through the first 4 games, Lamar had been one of, if not the, most pressured quarterbacks in football. He was sacked 7 times in a single game against the Detroit Lions, and still had the Ravens averaging nearly 40 points per game under his leadership. So ask yourself, if they swapped offensive lines, if Josh Allen had to survive behind this Ravens front while Lamar Jackson enjoyed Buffalo's top-tier pass protection, do we really believe Lamar would be performing worse than Josh Allen? He's already outperforming him with less protection. Again, who's bringing the most value? And let's talk about that protection. The Ravens' offensive line 6 weeks into the 2026 season had been exceedingly subpar, and that's putting it lightly. In one game alone, Lamar was pressured on 35 of his dropbacks. 35? That's unheard of. Was there even an offensive line out there? Yet, in spite of this, Lamar Jackson began the season on fire. Once again, leading all NFL quarterbacks in efficiency, yards per pass, and total touchdowns. And because of that unmatched efficiency, the Ravens were averaging nearly 40 points per game before his injury in week 3. So was that because Lamar was being carried by a loaded offense? Or was it Lamar's MVP level brilliance carrying that offense? After Lamar Jackson went down with injury against the Kansas City Chiefs in week 4, this so-called highly talented Ravens offense, the one analyst labeled the most gifted roster in football, suddenly looked completely lost. Without Lamar, they averaged a pathetic 6.5 points per game over the next 2 contests. Does that sound like a roster that didn't need Lamar Jackson playing at an MVP level to dominate? Meanwhile, Josh Allen had played a direct role in Buffalo's struggles, personally responsible for 5 of their last 6 turnovers. So what does all this really say about the true value of 2 undeniably talented quarterbacks? Does it support in any way the reasoning that stripped Lamar Jackson of the MVP last year? The answer is undeniably no. If you're feeling me right now and you're sitting there saying, yeah, Rob, that's what I've been saying, then do me a favor, hit that like button, drop your comments below, and make sure you join the One Flock family so you never miss what we have coming up. Hit that reminder bell, join our memberships. We got a lot of things going on right now, so you never miss anything when we tell it like it really is, because we're building something special here, and I want you flying with me. But here's The final twist to this story that is going to blow your mind. This is the one that just seals it as if it wasn't sealed already. Even the same voices who once said Lamar Jackson wasn't that valuable are now proving they knew the truth all along. Look at what happened. The Baltimore Ravens, a team sitting at 1-5 in last place in the AFC North, entered the Week 7 bye, still listed by Vegas odds makers as the overwhelming favorite to win the division. How does that even make sense? Teams with losing records don't get that kind of faith unless something bigger is coming. And in this case, everyone knows what's coming, or I should say, who's coming. 8 is coming back. Lamar Jackson is coming back. And that tells us everything about what they really believe or attribute to Lamar Jackson's value. That's how much he means to this franchise, to this city, and this league. The odds makers knew it. The analysts who doubted him know it. Even the voters who snatched away his MVP in 2025, deep down, know the value that is Lamar Jackson. Because if one player's return can instantly swing an entire division's betting line, that's not just value. That's power. And if Lamar Jackson's absence can turn the most talented offense in the NFL into one of the least productive units in football, then there's no debate to be had. They called it a small difference between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. But the whole league, the whole world just found out that that difference was everything. When Lamar Jackson isn't on the field, the Ravens aren't contenders. They're casualties. When he is on the field, they don't just compete. They terrify. The MVP voters can spin it however they want. But the tape, the stats, and the scoreboard all scream the same verdict. The MVP voters got it wrong, flat out, because the data doesn't lie. It never did. Lamar Jackson is not only the Ravens' most valuable player, Lamar Jackson is the NFL's most valuable player. Case closed. I'm Rob Love. This is One Flock. Thanks for flying with the brother. We'll see you next time.
We take the field as one flock. No Ravens, here we go as one flock. We keep grinding till we soar to the top. Come on, Ravens, here we go as one flock. We keep grinding till we soar to the top. Let's go.